তুমি মিউট আছো।
Shubhan, has the countdowns ended?
Yeah, আমরা লাইভে আছি। We are live.
Okay. So all, welcome to a brand new episode of IFF News, and today we have a very detailed discussions on club before country, and in that regards, নীলাঞ্জন দা আজকে আমাদের সাথে জয়েন করেছে এই ব্যাপারে আলোচনা করার জন্য, and নীলাঞ্জন দা দিয়ে ইনসাইটসটা দেবে। এই ঘটনার পরিপ্রেক্ষিতে আমরা প্রথমে বলে নিই কেন কি নিয়ে এই আলোচনাটা। বেসিক্যালি আপনারা সবাই জানেন আমরা 2 অগাস্ট থেকে ইন্ডিয়ান আন্ডার 23 টিমের একটা ক্যাম্প চলছে বেঙ্গালুরুতে। নৌসাদ মুসা তাই আপনাদেরকে এই ডুরান্ড কাপের, যদি আপনারা মনে থাকবে আমাদের লাইভে আমাদের টুইটার হ্যান্ডেলে বারবার বলে এসেছি, নৌসাদ মুসা কিন্তু কোনো প্লেয়ার পাচ্ছে না, আর উনি যা প্লেয়ার পেয়েছেন 25 জনের মতো 10 জন প্লেয়ার হচ্ছে ওনার আগের ক্যাম্পের টিমের প্লেয়ার। মানে বুঝতেই পারছেন 50% ওভার প্লেয়াররা ইটস নট অ্যাভেলেবল ফর সিলেকশন, মানে 60% অফ দ্য প্লেয়ার্স আর নট অ্যাভেলেবল ফর সিলেকশন। উনি বাধ্য হয়ে ট্রায়ালের কিছু প্লেয়ারদেরকে ডেকে এনেছেন, তাদের ট্রায়ালে দেখছেন। এদের কিছু নাম আজকে আমরা এখানে বলবো চ্যানেলে, যারা আন্ডার 23 টিমের ক্যাম্পে ভালো করছে আর তারা ন্যাশনাল টিমে কল আপ পেতে চলছে। সেই নামটাও আজকে আমরা আমাদের লাইভে বলে দেবো, 3-4 জন প্লেয়ারের নাম যারা ট্রায়ালে খুব ভালো করেছে, আর তাদের নামও আমরা আমাদের চ্যানেলের থ্রু দিয়ে আপনাদেরকে নিয়ে আসবো, যারা খুব ভালো কাজ করছে, খেলছে কিনা। বাট সবচেয়ে বড় কোয়েশ্চেন হচ্ছে আজকে যে ডুরান্ড কাপের মতো একটা টুর্নামেন্ট, আমি জানি না নীলাঞ্জন দা আমার চেয়ে অনেক বেশি খেলা দেখেছে, অনেক টুর্নামেন্ট কভার করেছে, নীলাঞ্জন দা আরো ভালো বলতে পারবে যে ডুরান্ড কাপের মতো একটা টুর্নামেন্ট কতদিন লাগে দাদা একটা টুর্নামেন্ট শেষ হতে। মানে ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ, আমি একটা ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ দেখছিলাম, ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ আর ডুরান্ড কাপ কি এক লেভেলের টুর্নামেন্ট প্রথমত, আর ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপ যদি শেষ হয়ে যেতে পারে তার জন্য ভারতীয় ফুটবলের সাথে কি এআইএফএফ ডুরান্ড কাপের ক্যালেন্ডারটা একটু বেটারলি ম্যানেজ করতে পারতো না? It's a mockery, basically. Mockery. তোমার কি মনে হয়?
Yeah, hi. Welcome to a new brand circus revelation of in Indian football setup and scenario. That should have been your introduction, Shayan. Not to another brand new episode. It's another circus which has surfaced in front of us. It's a mockery. Definitely, it's a mockery because see what happened is in the midst of, because of all their misdeeds and not being able to set the MRA on the right track, the current regime of the All India Football Federation understood that despite they being at the helm, there's no football which should be played at the senior most level. Now to just turn a kind of distract or deviate the attention, they said, okay, the Durand Cup is our face-saving race. Let's give them a 1.5 month window. Now, without even understanding what are the future plans for it, for Indian football, what are the international windows, under 23 coming up, under 22 coming up, the senior team coming up. There was a September window. At that time, the CAF Nations Cup was not supposed, we were not supposed to play in that. The September window, there was always a prospect or a talk of a new coach. Nothing was taken into consideration while giving a window for the Durand Cup. Durand in all its glamour, when Durand Cup was the Durand Cup, which the glamorous Durand Cup used to happen in Delhi, and what a tournament it was. It used to finish around 12 to 14 days. Obviously, understandably, the recovery and the rest period of the players were not as per FIFA prescribed standards. The tournament was done in a hurry. It was an integral part of the calendar. Now, but for it to be giving in the name of spreading Durand Cup to the entirety of the entire country, 1.5 months is too long. World Cup happens 1 month. This is absolutely unacceptable. It's okay, fair enough, but then there should have been a kind of a different section that, okay, this is the qualification section, the main teams come in from later on, and if AIFF has given the window, I have nothing against the tournament, the AIFF should have taken into consideration, they should have understood the priorities of Indian football. As much as Durand Cup is an integral part of the calendar of Indian football, the priority is not the Durand Cup at all. Face-saving race Durand Cup has become the Federation Cup or the ISL right at the current moment, and who's bearing the brunt? The under 23 camp, The senior national team camp is obviously all set to bear the brunt. So that's what happening. It's a mockery. It's a new circus, and each and every day under the current regime, something or the other surfaces, which brings all to a conclusion. Oh, ये तो circus चल रहा है.
Correct, Dadavan. I totally agree with you. And what is the most sad part is that the coach has asked for these players before the camp. Camp started on 2nd of August. Today we are discussing on 11th of August. So 10 days have passed away, and coach has asked about the players before the camp started. Now coach has not received the players. Coach, মানে আমি যদি বাংলাতেও বলি, কারণ অনেক বাংলা অডিয়েন্সও আছে, অনেকে বাংলায় লিখছে, তাই জন্য আমি বাংলাতেও বলছি। 25টা প্লেয়ারের মধ্যে গত যে আন্ডার-23 টুর্নামেন্ট আমরা খেললাম তাজিকিস্তানে, সেখানে কিন্তু 10টা প্লেয়ার ছিল। তাজিক টুরে 10টা প্লেয়ারকে আমরা এখন অবধি নিতে পেরেছি। বাকি 15 জন, মানে 60% অফ দ্য পিপল অফ দ্যাট টিম ইজ নট অ্যাভেলেবল ফর সিলেকশন। তখন বেচারা কোচ এখন কি করবেন? উনি বলছেন আমি ট্রায়ালের কিছু প্লেয়ারকে নিয়েছি, স্যার দেখছি ভালো লাগছে, এদেরকে দিয়েই করতে হবে, কিছু করার নেই। তো স্যাড অ্যাফেয়ার্স হচ্ছে এআইএফএফ এর ক্লাবকে বলার ক্ষমতা হচ্ছে না যে তোমরা এই প্লেয়ারটা ছাড়তেই হবে। মানে সবচেয়ে স্যাড পার্ট এইটা, তারা এইটা বলারও ক্ষমতা নেই যে আমরা ক্লাবকে ছাড়তে হবে। এই যে ডিসকাশনটা এত ক্লাবদেরকে নিয়ে হলো, সেখানে তো বলতে পারতো। তুমি জানো নিরঞ্জন দা, মানে আমি তোমাকে যে কথা বলছি, মানে পাঞ্জাব এফসি যে টুর্নামেন্ট থেকে আউট হয়ে যায়, তার প্লেয়ার এখনো ক্যাম্পে জয়েন করেন।
It's misplaced priorities. They are not even aware what the schedule is. This is what happened when jokers rule. It was the beginning of the end from 2nd of September 2022. I will be repeating this all the days I'll be alive in this life. Many had joined their hands together. People have fallen off, and now people are backbiting and throwing stones, have become stone pelters from outside, but all of them are equally responsible. You speak about the meeting, very rightly said. You mentioned about Punjab FC, very rightly said. A very pertinent question which hits my mind is, there was a technical committee meeting which was there to be to select the national team coach, which I call was a farce, nothing else. Who was there? A Padma Shri I.M. Vijayan, Dronacharya Armando Colasso, Dronacharya Bimal Ghosh, Dhyan Chand Sabir Ali, former India captain Victor Amalraj. Who else? Pinky G, former India captain Climax Lawrence. I forget the other names, whoever it may be. All of them are distinguished names in Indian football. I'm not demeaning any one of them. But the question as a football fan is, when did you meet? Did you discuss or think about the under-20 camp? Mr. Armand Colasso and Bimal Da, both great individuals whose contribution to Indian football no one can take away. But we have all the right to ask them, and if I face them, I'll ask them, sir, did you discuss about the under-20 camp? Did the chairman of the technical committee discuss or think about the under-20 camp and give them the report? I don't feel so. Why does it take shows for a Shayan or an Ilanjan or Indian football fans to ask very simple basic questions which should have been discussed and prioritized and finalized and decision taken some 3 weeks back? Does an I.M. Vijayan or an Armando Colasso not understand that what will a coach do or how much handicap a coach becomes when you have only available 10 players out of his probable list of 25 or 26? It creates a disbalance. I can tell you, it creates a disbalance. How does it create a disbalance? Because you cannot go into the technical practice sessions. Because 15 of your boys won't even be considered when the final list of 23 or 23 would be selected, maybe 24. You take 24, register 23. It's easier to have an even number because of the practice sessions we should be having. Number one. Number two is, some of the fans may, or some people may say, okay, you can do a physical conditioning. That again becomes lopsided for the simple reason that you are of this 10, of this 25 which are there in the camp, maybe 10 would be making the final list. Their physical conditioning could be to a level of 70, 75, 80. The other guys who are in the Durand Cup will not be able to match their physical standards as and when they come. The strength conditioning and the strength conditioning and the physical endurance levels. it creates a lopsided effect. Now, did a Bimal Ghosh who understand this? Did an Armando Colas who understand this? Did a Climax Lawrence who understand this? Did a Victor Amalraj who understands this? Did a Sabir Ali who understands it? Did a I M Vijayan who understands this? Even discuss or think about it. That's the basic problem. We always come on, obviously, we would be looking at the leadership and saying, okay, Satyanarayan ji, Kalyan Chauve ji, I'm not taking their side. I'm not playing the devil's advocate, because any member or any committee is as good as the leadership which you have.
Correct.
Why was it not discussed? You are a technical committee meeting, right? You had an executive committee meeting, right? What did you do? What did you do?
Said. Another aspect to this whole discussion is that AIFF is about to confirm. It is still now not confirmed. I just checked before the live started. A friendly with Iraq, 2 games. It is not confirmed till now, but most likely it will get confirmed. What I'm hearing from Federation people. So, if we are playing against Iraq is a very good opponent in under 23 level also. They are quite a strong opponent in under 23 level also, if you see the records also. So, can't you tell the clubs you are playing? For example, Mohun Bagan has got a good bunch of players who plays for under 23 team. Northeast has got good bunch of players who plays in the under 23 team. And Jamshedpur also have many of the players. So, for example, a Suhail Ahmed Bhatt, is he needed to make Mohun Bagan champion in Durand Cup? Is he needed? Where you are having Jamie McLaren, you are having Jason Cummings, you are having Dimitri Petratos, who are ready, and Petratos is not getting chance to play in the game. That is the quality of the bench strength Mohun Bagan has. So, why not releasing Suhail Bhatt? এইটাতে দাদা আমার যেটা ব্যক্তিগত মনে হয়, ক্লাবদেরকে ঠিকমতো অ্যাপ্রোচই করতে পারছে না। এটা হচ্ছে নিজের মিশনটা দেখানোর যে একটা হয় না, এটা আমি একজনের নাম নেব না এখানে লাইভের, কারণ নাম নেওয়াটা ঠিক হবে না। এই টিমের একজন ইন্টিগ্রাল পার্ট আমাকে বলছে ক্লাবদেরকে ভিশনই আমরা দেখাতে পারি, ওই জন্যই প্লেয়ার ছাড়ছে। ক্লাবদেরকে কিন্তু সে দোষ দিচ্ছে না, সে কিন্তু ফেডারেশনের অন্দরের লোক। সে নিজে বলছে যে আমরাই ভিশনটা দেখাতে পারছি না ক্লাবদেরকে। So what is the condition of the football?
The surprising part from that, what you say is, there's a Vision 2047, which this individual, be it a gentleman or a gentle lady, who the insider informer from AIFF is, he or she is also part of the Vision 2047. So where has that vision gone? That's A. Second point, you cannot blame the clubs for not releasing the players, because the players belong to the clubs. Whether they are playing Suhail Bhatt or not, it's their decision, it's their prerogative. I'll never be blaming, okay boss, you are not playing them, release that individual ABCD player from the team. Point three, however, if there's a dialogue, this thing or this stalemate which has happened could be solved. Maybe if not 100%, at least the main nucleus of the players come in. And if you are able to convince 2 or 3 clubs, the other clubs will follow suit. Point 4, the clubs, as much as I will be batting for the clubs for the players being on their payrolls, it's not high time. The clubs need to open their eyes and ears and understand that unless the national team performs, a Durand triumph for you will mean nothing. It's just a trophy at the club tent, with some supporters would be jumping out there, oh, Durand Jita, and some social media posts. Nothing else. Now, obviously, there's an agenda in Indian football all over. Some of the officials, for their own claim and for their own boasting purposes, would be saying the club won the Durand for all the right reasons. But you need to understand and look at the bigger picture. Indian club football is worse than the Indian, worse than the Indian national team, despite them having 4 or 5 foreigners, very quality ones. Club officials are unwilling to understand this. If you compare the Indian national football team, whom we criticize each and every time, maybe people feel the players may not having the passion or the ambition or the hunger or the attitude. And if you compare the level of Indian club football at the Asian level, the Indian national team has performed better. It's the reality. It's the harsh truth. Be it Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, any team for that matter. Not. There have been some performances. They have come in. I'm not demeaning any one of them, but so have the Indian national team. Have got some certain good triumphs over the years. So unless they look at the bigger picture, nothing is to happen. And the most important part is, it requires, the federation is so much in crisis, so much in doldrums, that they do not I feel, maybe have the courage to go out and approach the clubs asking for their place, fearing that the clubs may ask them, oh, what happened to the ISL? You're asking my players. Maybe that is one of the reasons. Maybe they feel so much fearful to even ask for the under-23 players. That too after a meeting which the federation called along with club officials in the capital and after a press conference. Why couldn't even the president say, oh, sorry, and also I would be urging all the clubs to release their players for the under-20. Maybe they have totally forgotten it. It's totally ignored or forgotten, or so much fearful. Bhai, baati mat karo yaar, jo hoga dikha jayega, chup rahe abhi bhai, because every day is a crisis. Indian football has always been about managing crisis on a day-to-day level, but now it's not a day-to-day level anymore. It's by minute level now at the current moment. Under the current scenario, it's a minute-by-minute crisis which is happening each
second by second crisis also, you can say.
Exactly.
Every day there's a new story coming up. And Dada, arekta point আমি এখানে add করব. Correctly you have said. Firstly, I agree with your points, especially the point where you said that clubs are reluctant. ক্লাবসদেরকে বলার যে ক্ষমতাটা, সেটাই এএফএ হারিয়ে ফেলেছে, যেটা আমার ব্যক্তিগতভাবে মনে হচ্ছে। যা ডায়লগ শুনছি, যা মানে আমি তোমাকে এটা বলছি যে টিমের ভেতরকার লোকই বলছে যে ফেডারেশন ঠিকমতো বোঝাতে পারছে না ক্লাবকে। যদি আমি বলি আমি ইরাকের সাথে খেলবো, মোহনবাগান বা ইস্টবেঙ্গল বলো বা অন্য ক্লাবও কিন্তু প্লেয়ার ছেড়ে দেবে, এমন কোনো ব্যাপার না। তারা এখন অব্দি সেটাই বলে উঠতে পারেনি। আজকে 9:30 শোটা শুরু হওয়ার 2 মিনিট আগে অব্দিও ক্লাবরা জানে না কাদের সাথে খেলা, কি খেলা।
See, unless you are aware of what the significance of that championship is, you won't be able to explain to others. You are so footballing uneducated right at the current moment, you cannot gauge or understand the might or the status or the stature of an under-22 championship. How much significance does an under-22 AFC tournament level championship hold for Indian football? You need to understand it, absorb it, observe it, and then go out and approach clubs. I am uneducated enough. I'm so much uneducated, I cannot educate myself despite all the water fluid which I have in my body, drinking each and every day. Yeah, the sips of water, okay, trying to stay hydrated. I'm not able to explain to you. So I am not convinced. I am unaware. I am ignorant. What do I go and approach and explain to the other players? And the clubs, I guess, may not have been told or may not have been explained. This is a guess. Now, it's an analysis from my side that the clubs need to understand and prioritize the Indian national team, maybe a bit of sacrifice. That's an analysis from my side, but at no level can anyone force the clubs to release players, but there can always be dialogues. And in this case, it's understandable. I believe there wasn't even any dialogue. Had that happened, then in the committee itself, there could have been a request, okay, wherever we are, whatever we are, a polite request to release some of the players. You have a chat with the coach, okay, they are already in their duty, registered players for the Durand Cup. Can you release these 7 players? And the rest come and follow. And see, you know what? We have lost a golden opportunity because this is August and this is the pre-season time. So all of these players would not have been released by the clubs at any cost, owing to the fact that the ISL under normal circumstances would have kicked off in September. This is the pre-season timing. So even if in last year or next year or any time, if you go and approach a club saying, I need your players, the club will say outside the FIFA window, I will not, because I have my own pre-season on. This time, there's absolutely no pre-season. The players are sitting idle. This is a golden time, and there was a golden opportunity for us to grab it and kind of give the maximum exposure in a camp, get the players ready. Obviously, I credit where it's due. There have been some good friendly matches which have been provided to the under 22 team, Naushad's team. As much there were friendly matches for the women's under 20, under the senior team. So you need to credit where it's due. But the vision, it's a total joke right at the present moment, if you ask me. And this is just another latest feather in the cap as far as the jokes are concerned.
So, Dada, there is a question from Binoy Ganguly, and he have asked one question, that if a player gets injured in a season playing for a country or a club, his question is, who will going to take care or will going to take the responsibility of the player recovery? মানে তিনি বলতে চাইছেন যে কোনো প্লেয়ার যদি কান্ট্রির হয়ে খেলে তাহলে তার কোনো ইনজুরি হলে তার রেসপন্সিবিলিটি কে নেবে? আমি চাই যে মানে অ্যানসারটা একটু যদি সায়নদা তুমি কেউ একটু দাও এই অ্যানসারটা।
সিরাজুদ্দাই দিক, আমি কি দেবো? সিরাজুদ্দাই দিক। আমি কি বলবো?
During the time I had the fortune of working with the All India Football Federation, all national team players had an insurance policy. So whoever came to play for the country had an insurance policy, and touch wood, God forbid, if anything happens, the All India Football Federation, as per the insurance policy, used to take the entire burden of the cost of, what do you say, the medical treatment. Obviously, it's also understandable that clubs also have insurance policies. So the money factor of who will take care of the player recovery doesn't arise at all. Because in the national team, from the federation side, during our regime, there was always an insurance policy, much inflated insurance policy, keeping in mind that injuries can worsen and have the worst of injuries. And most of the clubs do have. However, if a club doesn't have an insurance policy, or not all players are insured, it sometimes happens that, okay, you have 25 insured, 3 players joining, and they have not been insured as yet, because that entire time takes a bit of a time, and someone gets injured. That's an unfortunate case after all. But during my regime, it was taken care of by the All India Football Federation. I still remember youth teams when players had, what do you say, even national team players, when they had injuries, they were even called back for next national team camps during Stephen's time for the medical team to gauge their amount of recovery as to what they have done. They're not playing. Suppose, for example, someone has player A has an injury. I can even take the name. Robin was injured once upon a time, and the next match, the next national camp, he was not eligible to play because he was still under rehab. But he was brought to the camp where the medical team gauged and assessed his condition, put in certain pointers for him to recover faster, prescribing more treatments, putting him to other experts in the country. That was a normal feature. But right at the current moment, I'm not aware of what it is. But this was a policy and a protocol which I can say was followed from 2011 to 2022. I only hope it still continues. It is still continuing.
So there is another question from the same person that he have asked once again, that when you have a national coach who is managing Jamshedpur FC, I'm just adding in the club name, how you expect the club release the players when they are already playing a tournament with no aware of any more tournament in the calendar year? So your answer?
Very valid point, extremely valid point, and no one can even be countering what this gentleman said. But it brings me to the point where the start of the show, which I said that the AIFF needed to understand and preempt and speculate and do the forward planning as to, other than the Durand Cup window, what the other assignments would be affected. Okay, the under 20 championships are on. The September window is on. The CAFA Nations Cup wasn't there at that time, but the September window was always there. And then always again, October, which is do or die. You either do or die against Singapore away and then at home. So they had to preempt it and enter into the dialogue from much prior. Now, very rightly said, in the midst of a tournament, a club cannot go out and say, boss, I've already registered. This dialogue should have happened much, much, much earlier. The gentleman is absolutely right that you cannot, in the midst of a tournament, ask a team to suppose a player chhod do. No, you can't. Why will someone? And
Nilanjan, on the first place, the tournament should not have continued for so long. That itself is a problem created by the AIFF itself.
Even if you give them the benefit of doubt, you need to prioritize your priorities. And had the federation prioritized their priorities, they would have said, okay, the Durand window will be on, but what are we doing now for the under 20? So let's have a chat with the players, with the clubs that players need to be released. I tell you another example which is bound to happen. The lack of vision or absolute zero knowledge or means anything attached to ground reality from the All India Football Federation. The Federation president very proudly boasted the other day. I did not kind of have a look at the press conference. I read reports that, okay, the Super Cup will be in September. You're having the Super Cup in September where you have a do-or-die situation against Singapore with a new coach at the helm. When will the camp happen? Is I.M. Vijayan, is Shabir Ali, is Armand Colasso, Bimal Ghosh, the last two being the advisors, Climax Lawrence speaking about it? I'm not against the Super Cup, but is the window of the Super Cup the perfect time in mid of September? Which is more important because the players are out of touch, out of shape. Strength and conditioning is zero. It has hit a rock bottom. The players are out of match practice, absolutely doing nothing. So you need as much as a rigorous camp for first to get them through the routine, get them into the groove, then build on, give them the confidence, play practice matches and go on for Singapore match in October. Especially because you have no football right at the current moment. And that too under a new coach who has never had a camp. Now, will the federation be supporting the coach or will the federation to save their own face, hiding their face, will say, no, we have a Super Cup, playing to the galleries. This is, I tell this today, no one has said this. This is bound to happen. It's very proudly said, we will have a Super Cup. Now, whether the clubs agree or not, that's different. That's a different ball game or an analysis altogether. I'm speaking purely from the Indian national team perspective. Have you taken it into account? Second half of the September will have the Super Cup. So when will the practice session, the camp happen? Because the players are not doing anything. So that's the forward planning of the current regime of All India Football Federation. And that's the reason 2047 was put in. There were other gentlemen also who had put in 2047. Now they are stone pelters from outside. Pattar Marte, they're the cheerleaders of the stone pelting group. I do not want to take any names. Not name names.
Sad. Subhain wants to add something.
So Dada, I have another question. So today I have took an interview of Mr. Bimal Ghosh, and Shanda asked him one question that there's a CAF Nation Cup who is knocking our door, and still Mr. Khalid Jamil who is taking care of Jamshedpur FC. There is no preparation, there is no team list. Do you believe that India is going to do something good in this CAF Nation Cup? So Mr. Bimal Ghosh answered that Mr. Khalid Jamil is noting down all his opponent data and names, how they are playing, all these things. So Dada, it's my question that did you believe this kind of data is going to help India in CAF Nation Cup?
See, Bits, what kind of data? Obviously, coaches would be trying to look at matches of opponent teams and try to gauge their strengths and weaknesses, which each and every coach does. However, we are all entitled to only or privy to only media information, and the national coach who hasn't signed a contract as yet from last Friday to Monday to this Monday. So 8, 9, 10, 11 days after the announcement was made. 11 days have gone by. 12 days maybe. So he hasn't. Till now he hasn't. Tomorrow he will. That's absolutely fine. So I'm not blaming him. I'm asking about the federation side. He has said the Durand Cup is my priority. Obviously, he's on an assignment. He has not resigned. So anyone, even of any one of us who accepts a job despite having currently working in an organization, will till the final day give their blood and expertise and the knowledge transfer, handover, and on the last day we leave out and then go and join the other assignment. There can be planning done. Okay. Now, what Bimalda said, that he's noting down the points. Did Bimalda even answer that? Okay. Did he have a chat, or the other ones, other advisors who were there? The technical committee had a chat with Khalid Bhaijan as to, boss, one, how will you make us better? What are your plans, and what the resources we will be able to give it to you? How many days of camp do you need? It's not about did Bimalda have a chat with Khalid? Did the technical committee have a chat with Khalid? It's not a one-to-one individual chat when we have a technical committee. Now, the CAF Nations Cup is quite a very serious tournament with some opponents, big names out there. Okay. Now, it's not always that we will be winning it, but we need to give the best of preparation to the national team. That's A. B is, had there been a normal situation that, okay, the pre-season of the clubs are on, the players are going through the motions each and every day, the situation would have been different altogether. Therein, the debate could have been releasing only on the FIFA days. Now the players have been out of touch. When did they last play? When did the ISL last happen? The final happened when? I believe April, May. Since then, the players have been doing nothing. They played the Bangladesh match, they played the Hong Kong match in June. So July, August, they have done nothing, and they are on a vacation. And they deserve the vacation. Absolutely. Where is the leadership? If they are called, there's a certain nucleus of players whom we expect to be in the national team. What's the plan for them? Has the technical committee got in touch with the nucleus of their players and said, boss, this is what you need to do? If Bimalda says that he's collecting data of other players, my counter question to Bimalda would be, Bimalda, or sir, I call him sir, because he's a very renowned gentleman and he deserves all the respect. I respect him like anything, because he has given many of players to Indian football. No one can take that away from him. But sir, my simple question is, you're collecting data from you say that you're collecting data, your coach is collecting data of rival teams, when your coach himself is saying in the media, my priority is only for the Jamshedpur FC. Fair, Durand Cup, lovely. Second main counter question, what's the counter question to me is that, okay, has your coach had a chat with your national team players, probable set of national team players? Has he given them a regime or a routine that, okay, there's no football going on right at the current moment? After a chat with your strength and with his strength and conditioning coach, Khalid's, that has Khalid said, okay, Nilanjan, you are out of shape. Your body fat percentage needs to be less than 7%, or maybe below 10 is acceptable, above 10 is not acceptable at all. In the gym, this exercises, you last had a hamstring injury. Take care of the medical team. That's how a national team is prepared. Have a look at the national team history, the register. One moment, Shayan. At the register, okay, you had a hamstring pull last time in the last camp. What are the specific exercises which you have done? What was prescribed to you? Have a chat with your medical team and say, are you monitoring him? Is my counter question. He needs to monitor and take notes of his players first. Then taking notes of outsiders later. That's very much an integral part. You don't know whether you'll have whom you have in your team, and he's taking notes of others, and the advisor to the president is saying, oh, he's taking notes.
No, advisor to the president doesn't know who would be his support staff till yesterday evening.
You raised your finger. I gave you the chance. Means I stopped. That was my next question. Who are the support staff? Who's helping Khalid?
Nobody knows. I asked him directly. You can see the interview. Nobody knows. In fact, he's saying that we are not clear on that. Or that we will solve it within ourselves. So
if the advisor or a part of the technical committee, despite being a very esteemed gentleman, a technical footballing brain of the country, is not aware, even after 12 days, that who would be Khalid's support staff when the camp is supposed to start. It explains why we are at 133. It explains everything, why we are 133, why we were 173. It's all based on emotions right now. It's all based on emotions. There's no logic. There's no technical analysis. People are playing the emotional card and playing to the gallery.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
And I'd like to add another thing. I'd like to add another thing. We have asked another question that Khalid Jamil got his success with a player like Jordan Murray and Stephen Eze also in his team. So, do you believe? Do he believe that Khalid Jamil will get the success of Indian player also? So his answer was like that: "Ki ISL is much tougher league than international game, so he can manage all the Indian players, and India will get success in international also."
No, see, did Bimal sir say that ISL is much tougher than an international league, international match?
Yes.
Explains why we are 133. He's absolutely wrong. Put me on a debate with him then. And I will not demean him at all. I won't be demeaning. Bimal Ghosh's contribution to Indian national, not the national team, Indian football ecosystem is huge. There was a time when he used to go to Manipur camp there for 2-3 years, and the rise of Manipur football was directly associated with Bimal sir. He spotted players. But it's very surprising to hear him say like this. Then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I cannot be agreeing with him. Let that be the line from my side. I am sorry. I believe he's totally. I believe. I can't say a statement. This is my observation. I believe he's totally on the wrong track. International football is something else. Ask any player who's played international football, even against Nepal or Bangladesh. The only thing which you ask a player, because I've been part of the dressing room for 12 years. Of a country of 1.4 billion people, I was the only one who used to interact with them immediately after the match, travel with them day in, day out, years after years. No one else did. I had the privilege. I know what international football is all about. They say when you play the ISL, you have the ball, you look right, you look left, you look in front, look in back, and then you have the time to pass on the ball. In international football, I still remember when very small player, very small statured player, was a very promising player, and Jerry Lalrinzuwala, left back, played against Nepal in international friendly, I guess, at the Mumbai Football Arena. Stephen as the coach. Stephen coming for the press conference. Post match, I told coach, I told Stephen, coach, I'm carrying a player. Okay, fair enough. Whom do you want to carry? He was very specific. I said, Jerry, brief him. I said, okay, sure. That walk has started. It's from one side of the dressing room to the other side of the ground is the press conference room. I said, Jerry, beta, well played. Kya difference laga? Match ka? It was a conversation in Hindi. Bole match matlab wala national khela, youth khela, it's from the under 16 setup. International football में difference क्या मिला? बोले सर जी इधर तो बॉल पैर आने से पहले लोग मेरे पैर में घुस जाता है, टाइम ही नहीं मिलता. अलम क्यों? डोमेस्टिक में क्या होता है? बोले डोमेस्टिक में तो दाएं बाएं आमने सामने देख के मैं चला जाता हूँ. So that's the difference between an international football and difference between domestic football. And I expect the technical committee. What do I expect? This is my observation. I'm not a technical committee member, but hearing some, I believe I am much more equipped to be a technical committee member. My question would have been My question would have been very direct to the national coach. Boss, you have never coached with 11 Indian players at the national level, the ISL. You're a good coach, but you don't have the experience. How will you counter that? That's A. And koshish karenge nahi chahiye. How will you counter that? That plan may fail. A plan can fail. After he says, ask him, do you have a plan B? And say, okay, the spine of the team is, as Shubhayan mentions, which I have been saying each and Stephen Eze, Jordan Murray, Javier Hernandez, Silverio. How do you plan to counter it? Who's the spine of your team? And put a comparison between both. Are you confident of that success? How will you approach against Bangladesh, against Hong Kong, against Singapore, who are our players? Did that talk happen? Now, obviously, Bimal da, Arman sir, being coaches, the tactical acumen would be much more than me, or you, or maybe then Shubhayan or Shayan or anyone hearing. That's the conversation which needs to happen at that level. Hence, they are in that committee. But if someone from the committee comes and says the ISL is much more high intensity than an international game, to me it's a laughable statement. I am not sure how the footballing spectrum would react to this. I would look at the clip and maybe post it and ask the question on Twitter. If that's what is being advised to Indian football Vision 2047, it can be Vision 2047.
The video is now public. We have made it public now. You can see the video and it clearly states. In fact, I asked him another question on addition to that was, Dada, do you think, because you come from a long coaching history you had and you have done many things for Indian football, do you think, Dada, Khalid Bhai would be able to make India qualify for the Asian Cup? He said very simple things. Shine, we have a very easy 4 games now. Only Bangladesh away is a match. I think we should worry. Rest all the match we should win. Only Bangladesh away will be a tricky game. I don't think it will be a big of a worry for Khalid to make India.
Let it happen. Let it happen. Let it happen. He's a very respectable gentleman. I do not agree with that opinion of his. That's it. I do not agree with that opinion.
Nilanjan, another one thing I want to say regarding this under-23 team, people are asking many questions. I want to just highlight these few things to them. Is the people who are missing from the camp. So people who are missing from the camps are right now Parthiv Gogoi of Northeast United, who has his commitment with his club right now. Mohammad Sanan, integral part of this team, regular starter at under-23 level, he's missing. Suhail Ahmed Bhatt of Mohun Bagan, he's missing. Then we have got a very important player who is very missing in midfield is MacArthur Nixon from Northeast United. He's missing that game, missing the camp. Ayush Shetty from Goa, who is there in the camp, but he's missing in the. He was the part of the last team, but he's missing in the camp. Tekcham Abhishek Singh, a very big name right now in Indian domestic circuit. Abhishek Singh is missing the camp. He is with Mohun Bagan Super Giant in the Durand Cup. Dibyendu Bishwas, again Mohun Bagan player who is missing there. Paramveer Singh of Punjab missing. I am telling you the starting 11 players. These are I have named 7-8 players of the starting 11 who has played the last game, and they are all missing in the club for the camp. And coach is having camp for last 10 days. Coach is having a camp for last 10 days without these players. These are the players I have mentioned. They are the starting 11 players who are missing from the camp. Starting 11 players. These are the names. And I would like to name few names, I think, for a positive note. And Subhan can write down the names and we can share it here. The names which has caught the eye, in trial, few of the players, কি করবে কোচের তো আর কোনো অপশন নেই, 10টা তো প্লেয়ার আছে, 11টা তো প্লেয়ার নামাতে হবে, তো 10 জনকে দিয়ে তো তো উনি একটা ট্রায়ালের ব্যবস্থা করেছিলেন 2 তারিখ থেকে। ওই ট্রায়ালের মধ্যে একটা বাংলার জন্য একটা ভালো খবর, একটা ছেলেকে ওনার পছন্দ হয়েছে, আমি নামটা এখানে দিয়ে দিচ্ছি, সুভায়ন ক্যান মেক ইট। ছেলেটার নাম হচ্ছে সাহিল হারিজান, ইউনাইটেড এসসিতে খেলে, আই লিগ 2 এর প্লেয়ার। সাহিলের বয়স হচ্ছে 19 বছর বয়স। ফিজিকটা একটুখানি রোগা, আমি ওর যা ভিডিও দেখলাম, কিন্তু নৌসাদ মুসা ফাইন্ডস হিম পারসন হু ক্যান বি হু হ্যাজ আ গুড ফিউচার ইফ হি কিপস হিজ হেডস। ভালো প্লেয়ার। ওর নৌসাদ মুসার কথা অনুযায়ী সাহিল হারিজান ইজ আ ভেরি গুড প্রসপেক্ট ফর ইন্ডিয়ান ফুটবল and he plays in the attacking lineup and he thinks that this guy has a future. Dada, what do you think, Dada? Player na pele, so this is the only option left. You have to go out and get players through trial. This is the option last. But coach's jonno khubi kharab. The way this was told to me, it was on a person who has.
It also means if I was the coach, I would have said, "Boss, I am walking out. You carry on with your team." See, if a coach from the world, all that has happened is unfortunate, not unfortunate, it's wrong. But at the same time, I would say if the coach is continuing the camp, Of course, you have to be responsible for it. You cannot just cry back and say, "Oh, mujhe nahi mila," then you should be leaving the job. If you're on the hot seat, you should not be crying, and you should have to manage it. What do you have? If you don't get it, you have all the right to say, "Boss, मेरे से नहीं होगा इन प्लेयरों से, मैं चला, अब किसी और को दे दीजिए." You cannot be having both sides. Means the better sides of both halves. That's also comes, because this is also a kind of, it's unfortunate. I'm supporting it any time. People may find my statement very illogical. What has happened is extremely unfortunate. There's no support, but at the same time, the coach needs to raise his voice. Unless he raises his voice, whoever coach it may be, this thing cannot happen. At the same time, the coaches need to be practical. Had this been a different situation, a normal footballing calendar of ours, the other demand may not have been met. So that's the challenge of coaching the national team. But yeah, in this case, it's a different scenario. The coach also, I'm not aware whether he has had a chat with the technical committee, called up the technical committee, had a chat with the president, the general secretary, whoever it may be, the people who matter, rather than waiting out there. I'm not sure.
No, he has raised in last week of July. I can tell you with full responsibility. Last week of July, he has said that we need these players for the camp. If you are making a camp, it's better we don't make a camp. Today is 11th of August. We don't have the players. And he has told that 14th and I think 14th there is one festival. I think there's a holiday there. 15th, I think there is something is happening. There is nobody on leave. So what he would do if we are going to play against Iraq, international friendly before under 23 friendly, a very important game. Iraq, এখনো confirm হয়নি কিন্তু হয়ে যাবে। আমি আজ আর কালকের মধ্যে হয়তো confirm হয়ে যাবে।
It's a very good opposition. If we get Iraq, it's a great opposition.
And why are we losing this opportunity? আমরা সব কিছু আমরা ক্লাবদেরকে বলিনি, and I can tell you till 9:30 today. There was no communication done to the club that we are playing against Iraq or this is our plan or vision.
Anyway, we are blabbering the same issue over and over again.
That's it. And I think another few names. I think not now. I think not selected. Shubhan, this namta ami nilam, Sahil Harijan. This guy is not selected till now, but this guy has caught the attention of the national coach in the camp. And I think this guy, what I am hearing from the people, that this guy can make the cut. But now it has not been finalized, but this guy is playing really well. Hope that he is able to continue his way in future. Let's see. Because other players need to join in. I think he will go for the friendly.
Okay. I would like to take one comment. Dev Roy, Liston Kobe, India goal Kobe. Dev Roy, do you believe that we are doing a circus show over here? Do you believe? আমরা এখানে circus show করছি কি? We are discussing about Indian football. If you want to hear it. Otherwise, you can leave, sir. Okay, this is not the place to do banters.
Let banters come in. Yeah, absolutely fine. People have their own opinions. Unless they understand the, what do you say, the priorities, these things will continue. Let it.
Priorities, so we have to understand. And another 2-3 players who have caught the eye, I would be naming that in the camp. The player who were not there but who has done pretty well in the camp is this Harsh Palande of Soham and Ricky. All BFC graduates. These people have also done quite well in trials, what I've been hearing. But obviously, team list, once it finalizes, we will publish in our Twitter handle. 100% we will be sharing it once it is out. So, this was the whole story. We are in a middle of a season where we don't know when the season will start. I think after 23rd of August, after Durand Cup final is over, I don't know what Indian football fan will be up to, all following national team.
The circus which is going on, which fans do not understand, is under 23 camp, under 22 camp, players not there, 10 only players who would be most likely in the final 23 there for the last 10 days or so. The next circus is that 27, the Indian national team is supposed to land in for the CAF Nations Cup. which means they need to travel on 27th or maybe 26th evening itself.
Correct.
Till now, with the new coach coming in, with the players not, what do you say, with the players not having kicked the ball for quite a long time, there's no clarity on when the national team camp would start. If at all the national team camp starts, who takes charge? Because will Khalid, in the midst of the Durand Cup, if his team goes on to the semi-final, which is the 20th of the final and 23, leave out there? That's the circus which the fans are unable to understand. It's a lack of vision and the fan education from the fans' perspective as well. And on top of this, the circus, we are forfeiting, in the danger of forfeiting a season. So the Durand Cup is the Panta Bhat, becomes the biryani for us. The Panta Bhat ajke amader biryani hoye geche. This so-called Durand Cup, টেনে সকালেও পান্তা ভাত, দুপুরেও পান্তা ভাত, রাতেও পান্তা ভাত, বিকেলে চায়ের সাথে চলো পান্তা ভাত মেরে দিই. People are happy with that. Let them be happy. It's all about priority.
Durand খেলে কি কোনো AFC spot পাবে?
That's a calendar. Okay, means that's a calendar, but yeah, that's it. So anyway,
নীলাঞ্জন দা, সুবায়ন আমাকে এক কোচ বলেছেন এই টুর্নামেন্টে পার্টিসিপেট করছে, সেই কোচের নাম দিচ্ছি না, বলছে আই রিমেম্বার, মানে আমার দেশে এরকম একটা ফেস্টিভ্যাল হতো, শেষ হওয়ার নাম নিত না, ওনার ওই ফেস্টিভ্যালের কথা মনে পড়ে গেছে যে শেষই হচ্ছে না। উনি বিদেশি কোচ, নাম দিলাম না কোচটার, ফেস্টিভ্যালের মতো এটা চলছে, মানে শেষই হচ্ছে না, মানে হি ফরগট, একটা ম্যাচ খেলার পর পরের ম্যাচে উনি 12 দিন পর খেলছেন, মানে এরকম ভালো শিডিউলিং একটা কোচের কাছে স্বপ্ন। উনি বলছেন এরকম যদি প্রায় সব টুর্নামেন্ট হতো এরকম, আমার কাছে এত ভালো শিডিউলিং হওয়া যায় না, এতটা সময় পাচ্ছে।
রঞ্জন ভট্টাচার্যের সাথে দেখা করানো উচিত ছিল, তাহলে বলা উচিত ছিল আমার মোমেন্টাম ভেঙে দিচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, সেটা হতে পারে, বাট না, একটা কোচরা নীলাঞ্জন দা জানে একটা রিকভারির ব্যাপার থাকে, এই গ্যাপটা পেলে কিন্তু অনেকটা ভালো রিগ্রুপ করা যায়, ঠিক কিনা নীলাঞ্জন দা? এটা কিন্তু আমি অনেক কোচদের থেকে শুনেছি যে একটা গ্যাপ পেলে প্লেয়ারদের একটা ম্যাচে গ্যাপ পেলে নাকি কাজে লাগে।
It's a total scientific process. 72 hours is required between matches for the player recovery process. Earlier, players need to get exploited. The earlier days of Durand, people used to play on a Monday. And I remember when I watched Durand as a journalist from late 90s, they used to play on a Monday, again play on a Wednesday. Every alternate that they used to play. But those were different days. So it's good that you have the gap. But to create an opportunity for everyone to play, you are killing the excitement of the tournament. That's what it is. Now, what do you choose? Obviously, in a situation like this, you also need to give the benefit of doubt to the Durand committee, saying that we are creating a window for people to come out and play the football. Excitement lingers on. But if someone is at fault, the federation failed to prioritize. It's not the Durand committee who has fault. At least they have been able to create a window and a tournament for players and fans to watch. Because it's a football season, the entire world is playing and we are not playing. But the priorities, misplaced priorities. It's as simple as that.
I think we had a very good discussion. I think we have said the discussion was quite fruitful, club before country. But I think this issue would have not happened if you would have at least far-sightedness-টা যদি আমরা একটু দেখাতাম, একটু দূর থেকে যদি দেখতে পারতাম, এই জিনিসটা হতোই না। এইবারের প্রবলেমটা
I would beg to differ with your comment of club versus country. That's a different proposition altogether, for the simple reason that had happened when federation wanted the players, the clubs were reluctant to release. This time the players were not even have been asked for. So why are we saying I debating with that club versus country? I understand. I'm just saying. It's misplaced priority. Simple.
Misplaced priority. প্লেয়াররা নিজেরা ফোন করছে যে আমরা আসতে চাই, আমাদেরকে তো বলতে হবে ক্লাবকে, ক্লাবের পারমিশন ছাড়া তো প্লেয়ার আসতে পারবে না, সেটাই হচ্ছে না। দ্যাট ইজ দ্য বিগেস্ট স্যাড পার্ট। আমার এই আলোচনা সেইটা করার এইটাই কারণ, যে এইটুকু যদি আমরা না বলতে পারি তো কি করে ভারতের ফুটবলের উন্নতি আমরা করতে পারবো। থ্যাংক ইউ যারা স্ট্রিমটা দেখলেন, আশা করছি আমাদের আলোচনাটা আপনাদের ভালো লাগলো। দেখতে থাকুন IFF নিউজ, আমাদেরকে টুইটারে ফলো করুন, পাশে থাকুন আমাদের। ভিডিওটা প্লিজ লাইক করবেন যাতে ম্যাক্সিমাম লোকের কাছে ভিডিওটা পৌঁছায়। ডু লাইক দিস ভিডিও and share this video so that it reaches maximum people, and we are very grateful to you that you guys watch our shows daily. Thank you. We are catching up tomorrow again night. Bye till then, all the best and keep watching Indian Football Circus. Thank you.
Bye-bye.